Good evening, I'm Ryan Benazzo.
And I'm Catalina Gillies. Thunder Bay police have arrested a 37-year-old Fowler Township man following a disturbing incident at County Fair Mall.
Someone reportedly drove a pickup truck over a tent at the homeless encampment around the former Sonny's gas bar. The incident took place just before 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It was initially believed that a person was inside the tent at the time, but it turned out to be empty and no injuries were reported. Police found a gray pickup truck on East Avenue with debris from the tent still stuck to it. The suspect has been charged with dangerous driving. Police say the driver's intent is still being investigated at this time, and the charges could be altered depending on what they find out. Inspector Derek West compared this situation to other incidents of vulnerable people being targeted and says there is no place for it in the city.
People taking, I'll say, the law into their own hands for a malicious intent will not be tolerated. We all have a right to be safe in our community, and offer obviously providing appropriate supports at the right time and the right place would be important to assisting people.
City police are asking anyone with video footage or a first-hand account of the incident to contact police or Crime Stoppers.
The Ministry of Transportation has confirmed it will conduct a review of the intersection at Sinsonen's Corner after the latest incident in which a transport truck blew the stop sign at the end of Highway 102. The frightening occurrence on Saturday afternoon was captured on dashcam video. The transport narrowly missed causing a collision and it ended up swerving through the parking lot and crashing in a field. It came less than a month after another transport blew through the same stop sign and collided with a fifth wheel, killing the two occupants of the rig. The final section of Highway 102 currently has 3 signs alerting drivers about the intersection and the stop sign ahead. The MTO says the upcoming review will explore opportunities to improve safety at the notorious intersection. Meanwhile, the Northwest Region OPP has now confirmed the driver in this latest incident, a 30-year-old man from Toronto, has been charged with careless driving.
The Northern Ontario School of Medicine is gathering public input regarding the move to become Canada's first standalone medical university. The Ford government decided earlier this year to allow the med school to separate from Lakehead and Laurentian universities, and the first town hall was hosted in Thunder Bay last night. Alex Flood has details.
As NOSM begins to evolve into NOSM University, Thunder Bay hosted the first of 9 Northern Ontario town halls to offer information about becoming an independently run school. NOSM is currently a joint effort between Lakehead and Laurentian University, but the autonomy would provide NOSM with their own governance and administration while allowing the school to expand and offer more programming in communities across the north. NOSM Dean Dr. Sarita Verma says listening to public concerns and keeping the communication lines open will help make the school's transition into independence a successful one.
I actually welcome debate. I welcome positive discourse. Nothing's set in stone. There's no predetermined course of action here. If people have concerns, I want to hear them. You know, it's really important that we have those discussions. I know that Lakehead's been very concerned, and I reach out to Lakehead. I have several times to say, so what can we do to lift all boats? What can we do to help Lakehead succeed? But more importantly right now for the East, what can we do to help Laurentian survive?
Following the presentation, attendees were invited to engage in a Q&A. One question came from City Councillor Peng Yu, who asked whether NOSM would ever leave Thunder Bay, but Verma quickly laid those concerns to rest.
It is really important that people understand that we have a commitment to Thunder Bay and to the entire Northwest. Our roots are here. Our flagship campus is at Lakehead University. Our relationship is with Lakehead University. We have leases on the buildings for 15 more years. But even 15 years later, there is no reason why NOSM would exit this foundation.
Legislation was passed in June for NOSM to become a degree-granting institution, and now the school awaits for official declaration early next year. Until then, the town halls will travel to Sioux Lookout and Kenora next week before heading out to northeastern Ontario. Alex Flood, TBT News.
A major funding announcement today by the Ford government, designed to improve the standard of care in Ontario's long-term care homes. The minister responsible for the file, Rod Phillips, announced that Ontario will spend $270 million this year to hire thousands of PSWs and nurses.
It will support up to 4,000 new long-term care staff across the province. To ensure that these funds are only being spent on hiring much-needed frontline staff, ministry officials will audit the home's expenditures. Residents currently receive, on average, 2 hours and 45 minutes of daily care from nurses and PSWs. This funding I'm announcing today will increase the daily average to at least 3 hours per resident per day by the end of March.
Phillips says the government plans to spend $4.9 billion in total over 4 years to hire more than 27,000 staff.
There's more fallout at Queen's Park over mandatory COVID-19 vaccines and medical exemptions. Premier Doug Ford responded to criticism over how he's handling exemptions on his own team. Colin DeMello explains.
It's being called a statistical anomaly. 2 members of Premier Doug Ford's caucus currently have medical exemptions allowing them to remain unvaccinated. That's far above the provincial rate, and the Premier is suggesting today he is not going to investigate. When it comes to medical exemptions for the COVID-19 vaccine, the province's Chief Medical Officer of Health laid out the risk.
Medical exemptions principally are, number one, a severe allergic reaction to any of the components of the vaccines, and it's our belief that that should be around 1 in 100,000.
But in the Ontario Progressive Conservative Caucus, 2 members have medical exemptions, a rate of 1 in 35. And critics of the government say that is out of step with the rest of the province.
It's statistically curious that 2 out of 70 members somehow have these medical exemptions. Dr. Moore says it's supposed to be very rare and that these exemptions will need a review province-wide. So the question to the Premier is, can the Premier help explain the statistical anomaly in his own caucus?
It takes the support.
The situation erupted over the weekend after the government revealed that PC MPP Lindsay Park misrepresented her status. She said she was going to be vaccinated, according to the government, but ended up receiving an exemption.
Of course, those exemptions are provided by medical professionals, and we have to assume that the medical professional providing this exemption has done so based on the guidance and recommendations of the Chief Medical Officer of Health.
Now the Premier is being pressed to investigate the validity of the MPP's claims.
Will the Premier be demanding that these exemptions be reviewed, or will he once again just be taking his members' claims at face value?
Which was immediately rejected by Premier Doug Ford.
We were very transparent, Mr. Speaker, on the people that had a medical exemption. We don't get involved in people's personal medical records, but we were very transparent.
Sources in the Ford government says it is now up to the PC party's human resources team to deal with an HR matter. Lindsay Park was stripped of some of her government responsibilities, but she's been allowed to remain as a member of the government caucus. At Queen's Park, Colin DeMello, CTV News.
A shortage of affordable housing across Canada is also being seen in Thunder Bay, and it's sending local real estate prices sky high. The housing shortage is relatively easy to explain, as there are simply more people who want homes than there are actual houses to buy or rent. Recent statistics from RE/MAX show the average price of a single detached home in Thunder Bay has gone up 17% this year over last. And Thunder Bay Real Estate Board Vice President Karen Hill says she expects another 10% increase in the near future. Hill says right now it's a supply issue causing the prices to go up, and creating more housing is the way out of this problem.
More new builds would be great. We could definitely sell them if given the opportunity. And also a repurposing of other buildings. A lot of the solutions is to repurpose a building into apartments so that if there is, say, an older couple that don't want to have a home anymore and the maintenance and everything, they could move into an apartment affordably.
Hill says it's still a good time to look for a property with the interest rates being so low, and she hopes more properties will start to pop up around town.
While the city of Thunder Bay continues to wrestle over spectator limits at local arenas, T-Bay-Tel has launched a free live streaming service for a number of local rinks, allowing people to watch what's going on inside. The service will live stream the ice at the Delaney, Current River, and Port Arthur arenas, along with Fort William First Nation rinks 1 and 2, right to the T-Bay-Tel YouTube channel. The cameras will provide a static 180-degree fisheye view of the entire ice service without audio for all ice times between 7 a.m. and midnight. T-Bay-Tel spokesperson Jamie Smith says the addition of the live streams is all about connecting to the community.
For whatever reason, you can't see your kid score that goal or see someone do that double axel that you really want to, whether you're away from the city or you just can't get there. So we kind of figured by leveraging our technology and infrastructure, we could really bring this service, connect more people no matter where they are.
Smith says they're in talks to expand to other rinks as well. He hopes they'll be able to announce new locations in the near future.
A Thunder Bay family will soon be showcased across the country on the iconic game show Family Feud Canada, and they're headlined by a 3-time Allen Cup winner. The Pressinger family recently made the trip to Toronto to put Thunder Bay on the game show map. Thunder Bay Twins legend Wally Pressinger was joined by his 2 sisters, his brother, and his sister-in-law. The hockey star of the family says being on Family Feud was far more stressful than his playing career, including those all-or-nothing Game 7s for the Allen Cup. The show's host, Jerry D., himself a hockey fan, was stuck to Wally like glue.
With the Allen Cup, he was very impressed by it, and he kept focusing on hockey and then our whole family in general, because the way we get along so well and everything. But yeah, he was unbelievable. He even mentioned that an outside chance he may come to Thunder Bay.
The Pressinger family's episode will be aired October 25th. Some local friends of the family plan on holding a watch party at a local establishment that night.
Well, that'll be must-see viewing, I'm sure.